Hi, I'm Dan Parent, and I work for Archie Comics and do Die Kitty Die, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Done in one. Works for me. Yeah. Sounds good. I say we roll with it. Yep. Where's Jason? Jason here? Jason gone?
Oh, I'm right here.
No, there's Jason. He's right there. Right over there. I see him.
He's stacking books. What's that?
I thought it was his boss's kid.
Yeah. Mikael.
Let's make it.
Hey, everybody. Another one of these 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 994. And I am Vince B.
You are Vince B. And I am David A. Price.
This is true, and of course, I am Bela Lugosi.
What? Why?
Bela Lugosi.
What?
Why not?
Did you read something with Bela Lugosi in it? Let me check your list. I've been checking your list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Twice.
I don't know. But you can't be Bela Lugosi because he's dead.
Oh.
He was a morphine addict, too.
Oh, yes, I know. Remember I read that awesome graphic novel about him.
Yes, but you're not Bela Lugosi. You're Jason Wood, everybody. Here together again, sponsored by CheapGraphicNovels.com. Do the math. CheapGraphicNovels.com. If you want to get your trade paperbacks, your OGNs, your omnibus editions, your manga, your art books, cheaper, far cheaper than anybody else, where do you go? CheapGraphicNovels.com. And if you're a first-time customer, here's what you do. Order very small. One or two things just to break the ice, and you're going to receive an email confirmation saying, we got your order. It's in the process. Hang tight. You're going to respond to that email confirmation saying, I would never have known about the glory of cheapgraphicnovels.com if not for 11 O'Clock Comics. And Max is going to give you free shipping on your second order. That's when you load up. Free shipping is insane. It's crazy. It's unheard of. Amazon doesn't even do free shipping. You got to pay for it. Free shipping. Free shipping. And if that wasn't enough, specials, and more specials.
That's right. And this week, I picked something for each of us, starting with
Nice.
DC Finance Justice League of America, the return trade paperback, $23.99. This for me.
Okay.
In the mid-'80s, the Justice League did one of their most radical lineup revamps ever by making offbeat heroes such as Zatanna, Vixen, Elongated Man, Vibe, Gypsy, and Steel mainstay members. Headquartered in Michigan, Justice League Detroit may not have had the name pedigree of previous iterations, but their adventures were no less exciting and dangerous. This DC Finest volume collects the beginning of the Detroit era issues from Justice League of America numbers 241 through 261, Justice League of America Annual number 3, and Infinity Inc. number 19. Richard Corbin Library, Rolf and Other Fantasy Stories, hardcover $27.99. The next volume of the Richard Corbin Library is a trilogy of werewolf stories. Rolf is a postmodern take of Beauty and the Beast that mixes high fantasy with dystopian science fiction, all packaged in a beautiful new printing with meticulously restored artwork and featuring a new introduction by Hayao Miyazaki, collecting Rolf, The Beast of Wolfton, and The Spirit of the Beast, The Story of Oteg, and backup material. And finally, Something is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter Deluxe Edition, Book 1, The Butcher's Trilogy, $37.49 for the hardcover, $52.49 for the hardcover slipcase edition. From the world of Something is Killing Children comes this terrifying new vision of monsters and the ones who hunt them. Jace, one of the last surviving legacy hunters of House Butcher, is set to train at the House of Slaughter alongside a young Aaron Slaughter. As Jace plots revenge against the house that took his family from him, he must reconcile new loyalties with old grudges, setting him on a path that will change the Order of St. George forever. Discover the entire Butcher's trilogy collected in a deluxe hardcover edition for the very first time. Collects House of Slaughter numbers 1 through 5, 11 through 15, and 21 through 25.
Nice.
FYI, that Corbin volume is mostly in black and white. Maybe,
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, maybe monochromatic in some spots, but mostly it's in black and white. That is his underground days. And it's worth getting. They're all worth getting. Cheap graphic, cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. One more time for me.
Cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Nice.
CGN.
Yeah. That's not going to get you anywhere on the web. But cheapgraphicnovels.com will.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I need a couple things I've been keep a little notepad here, things I need to be ordering. So I got to put an order in here ASAP.
I swear I get a box from them all the time.
I just got something. I'm just saying I like to try and since the shipping and all, since Max is our boy, I try and order multiple things at once so that the shipping is more
smart,
reasonable for me.
I am drinking something. Yeah, it's water. It's blackberry lemonade flavored sparkling water beverage.
Oh yeah,
with other natural flavors.
That's
It's a whole bunch of zero sugar, 0 calories, 0 caffeine, 0 sodium. It's like 0.
So it's literally nothing.
Right.
Why is it 10 calories per container? It's weird. 0 turns
Probably for the sweet whatever they do to sweeten it to make it taste.
maybe. But yeah,
Container?
per bottle, 10 calories.
And a bottle is a serving.
No,
Okay.
3 servings per container. It's 12 ounces is a serving.
Oh, so it's 30 calories then.
Wait a minute. It doesn't really matter. It's 33.8 fluid ounces. It's 1 quart.
Oh, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah. It's water. I'm drinking water.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those big ones, like a Liquid Death or something, or like an Arizona iced tea.
Okay.
Well, 30 ounces is a lot. That's a lot of liquid.
It's a lot of liquid.
I wish I was
we'll
drinking.
on the Slack.
I very much wish I was drinking. I'm not. I have a cup of tea, English breakfast, and then I have water.
Wow. We are so old.
Nah, it's just it's been a long week. I got a long day tomorrow. I got like 4 Zooms in a row starting at 8:30. 8:30 till like 1 I have Zooms.
It's a lot of Zooms.
It's a lot of Zooms. So I guess some are Teams, but
That's-
video conferences.
4 Zooms more than I would want to do.
It's more than I would like to do as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm still enjoying the Bart Dog Cabernet Sauvignon.
That was boring. We're all boring.
Yeah, we're old and busted.
Yeah.
That's why we're approaching 1,000
Yep,
episodes.
yep.
We should.
And you just had a birthday. I'm
Zizz it
about
up.
30 odd days away from mine.
I know, 75. Dude, you look good for 75.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
So stupid. You wonder why you don't get a text.
I get my son's card, and I literally sitting on my balls. I tell him I can't get out of this car because I'm sitting on my balls. Oh, it's not that low. It's low, dude. It's low because I'm sitting on them right here. Look at.
He's got a lowrider, huh?
Yeah.
See, I don't see that's what I don't want to be so old that my balls are hanging lower than the tip.
Oh, man.
Nobody said that, but it's just that I was
Okay, I'm just
sitting on
checking.
them.
You know, you're,
I was sitting on them.
I still have pretty good elasticity, if I'm being honest.
Let's talk about comics and not balls. Only we can talk about balls if they're in the comics.
Is it cold in the water? Okay.
Let's talk about
All right.
comics.
Okay, can I start with something because it was surprising?
He's so cute.
It was surprising.
Please.
Yeah, it kind of came like I ordered it, but I wasn't. But it was like one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, like it wasn't like it was surprising. Yeah, but I just didn't know. I didn't expect what it was. I didn't expect it.
Okay.
And part of it is because of who published it. So I know this isn't new because we got a Fantastic Four book from them doing this, and we've got some other things. But I am talking about the Avengers in the Veracity Trap.
Yeah.
Oh, you're aware of this? You say yeah.
I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's obviously you hear Avengers, you hear Marvel. It is a Marvel book, but weirdly, it's also an Abrams book. So I guess it's like that FF book they did, right? With was it Alex Ross, right? Yeah,
full circle.
So this is it's Chip Kidd is the writer, and then Michael Cho is the artist.
It's his favorite. That's a good art. That's good art.
Wait, Vince doesn't like Chip Kidd?
No, I don't like Chip Kidd when he does crappy covers.
Right. That's
I like him.
No, the Convergence covers were a mess.
They're a mess.
But Chip Kidd has a long storied history as a
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a hardcover graphic novella. I say novella because I think it's like 64, 65 pages. So it's like it's like two and a half comic issues. And for those that don't know Michael Cho's art, Michael is a fantastic artist. He is very much, I think, unapologetically in the school of, the Darwin Cook, Bruce Timm, that like super classic pinup style. It's wonderful work. He's really wonderful. He actually, every year he's one of the people on my list of I'd love to get a commission from him. And he's often at New York Comic Con, but he rarely does commissions. Anyway, love his style and perfect for this. This is a graphic novel that is set in the earliest days of the Avengers. It's the classic. It's post issue 4 Avengers, so it does include Cap, but it's Cap, it's Hank Pym, it's the Wasp, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, the original, the OG group if you include Captain America. And they are battling a bunch of wonderfully illustrated Kirby monsters. All those crazy monsters that Kirby used to draw. They're doing battle with them, and those monsters were summoned or brought to Earth or manifested, whatever you will, by Loki, which is another, of course, classic early Avengers villain. And it's just, the first half of the book is just I thought, as I was reading, I thought, okay, this is just their love letter to the golden age of Marvel, right? Because it's just Cho drawing these characters in their earliest forms, and he does this beautiful thing where he, as the book goes along, he does this pinup style. Like if you're looking at 2 pages, one of the pages is like a pinup style, almost like trading card, like Marvel Spotlight type of thing, where it shows the character, but it's both in sequence, so it is a sequential splash panel that follows the story, but it's also kind of like a poster of here's Iron Man or here's Thor. So it's really, of course, Chip Kidd being involved is no surprise, really well designed. But where it gets fun is, it was fun to begin with, but where it gets a little more interesting than surface level is the title, The Veracity Trap, right? Like it looks kind of like a portal, like a Siege Perilous, like a dimensional kind of thing. And then when our heroes go through it, they have an existential realization, the veracity, aka the truth, of being comic book characters. And they start having a mental breakdown about how their life is a farce and that and it goes deep. It goes deep. They're like, oh, we are actually rendered by a writer and a penciler, and the penciler draws us in pencil, and then someone else renders upon us ink, and then someone else uses a thing called a 4-color process to render color upon it, and we're drawn on something called Bristol, and it's very, very much about the creation of comics, which again makes total sense given Chip Kidd's lot in life in his career, and then you kind of are in the ultimate meta Animal Man style. You get to see Chip Kidd and Michael Cho in what is supposed to be Michael Cho's loft-style studio office, talking about this issue, and then wondering why the issue is taking on a life of its own. And then, of course, the portal opens, and then the heroes come into Earth, and then Chip Kidd and Michael Cho go into the comics. It's back and forth type of a thing. It's all very meta, all very tongue in cheek, but like again, it's very easy to understand. This is not high concept. It's just a lot of fun, and just their idea of I think paying love to both the classic era of Marvel Comics and the classic era of comic book creation in its most traditional form. So just lovely, just a really lovely, quick, fun read, beautiful. Show was just looked as good as ever. I mean, certainly stands right up there with the other people of his ilk, like Darwin. I mean, it really did look that great, and it was just a lot of fun, man. So, I don't know why. Like, I don't know I have no idea why Abrams has this license or what the MO of it is. Like, why these aren't Marvel books, but I'm not mad at it because the two we've gotten so far have been awesome, and I think the Alex Ross one was like 2 years ago. So it's not like they're banging them out. It's not like they're just shitting them out. They just kind of like to have this little pocket reserved for when creators of a certain cachet want to do a Marvel book that's a little left of center. They seem to be able to make it happen, and I think we're all winners for it. So yeah, really fun, man. Like if you're at all an Avengers fan from back in the day, which many of us are, I highly recommend the Avengers in the Veracity Trap.
I actually think that you're underselling this book.
Oh, I could be. I didn't know that you read it.
I got past the part where Laura goes through the Siege Perilous and the art changes. So I started it. It's incredible. The art's incredible. It's a love letter to Kirby. Of course, the love letter to Darwin Cook and all those other Kirby inspired artists. But holy crap, the pinups are great. The Kirby monsters are done to perfection, and then the art style completely changes to like this 3D rendered, full process. Let's just say dispense with the 3D, full process painted artwork, and it's just amazing. It's just so beautiful to look at, and it's in a format that'll lend itself to multiple readings, because you're not going to read this once. This is not something you're going to, it was pretty good. It's like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah, I would cherish a page from this.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I think we all would, but I think it's beyond even your reach.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, Michael Cho's he's not crazy expensive.
I would. Okay. What would you pay for a page of original art from this?
It'd probably be like $1,500 to $2,000. I guess.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm saying I don't like based on other Michael Cho stuff. I think that's about what it would go for. I could be wrong though. Who knows?
There are certain pages though that would be more expensive than other ones.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah.
Like Steve at the drawing board with all the characters behind him. That's going to go for big bucks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it looks phenomenal. It really does. Mm-hmm. And what I've read so far, it if it looks like a Silver Age Marvel comic and it walks like a Silver Age Marvel comic, it's got to be a Silver Age Marvel comic, and it feels like one.
I'm really, like I said, I'm really kind of like fascinated about this Abrams thing. Like why? Like, again, I mean, why isn't it a Marvel book, right? I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think Abrams does amazing work just beyond this, but like, so it's a fitting place to do something of this quality. It's weird. Like what was the pitch, right? Like how did Abrams say, all right, we want to do Marvel graphic novels? Like, it's fascinating, like it's a strange partnership.
Real talk. Can you imagine if this was printed at Marvel?
I mean,
no, I can't.
Okay. I don't know. I mean,
not today.
When you think about everything you think about the Taschen books, you think about what Abrams been doing so far. Marvel puts out, some nice omnibus and premiere editions, but I mean, when you want something that's got a little bit more of pizzazz to it, I think they kind of branch out. I mean, and it's wild that a publishing company that's, owned by Disney, it branches out some of their properties to Dark Horse, to at least Disney with Dynamite. I don't. And I mean, for a company that kind of started the whole dissolution of the distributors by buying Heroes World, it's interesting that they're branching out to work with other publishers after trying to like keep everything for themselves.
Facts.
Hashtag.
Yeah,
I'm glad
you co-signed. I didn't know either of you had checked it out. So.
I'm glad this book exists.
No, I haven't. I
Me
can't
too.
wait to
Yeah,
check
me
it
too.
out.
Yeah.
It would be a cold world without this book.
Fair enough.
We all read something similar.
We did. Another book I was pleased to see that we all read. I was also pleasantly surprised to see that.
Which is?
Chris Claremont's Wolverine #1.
Oh.
Right?
Why,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Why don't you speak on that?
Well, I must say, I for one was disappointed because I didn't realize when I ordered this that it was something I already read.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky. I didn't read it when it was.
Was that in the
originally-
solicit?
It wasn't in. I don't admit. I think it was, but I don't think it was worded really well.
Okay. So to be clear to everybody, this is a single issue written by Chris Claremont, drawn by friend of the show Tom Riley, G.I. Joe Tom Riley. But where it's confusing, and it's actually funny, I saw a review this week that talked about how Tom was really leveled up in this book. And I thought, you dope. Like, you drew this book 3.5 years ago, you dope. But yeah, so the conceit of it is that the only way you would have read this previously, which I was a part of, is if you ordered the amazing, like, hella thick, like twice the size of a Marvel Omnibus thickness.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont Paragon collection, which was like that really beautiful archival library book and slipcase that they did celebrating Claremont. I'm sure I talked about it on the show a few years ago when it came out. I think I did a video of it actually. And this was like, there were a bunch of bonus stuff in there. It was like there was just a million things in the book, but like one of the things was this story, like a quote unquote new story by Claremont. That was one of the conceits. And I remember reading it, and I didn't put two and two together until I opened it up this week and started reading it. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm like, this seems really familiar. Oh, okay. But that's a minor quibble. I mean, that's my fault, not theirs. I will say that it's Claremont, and it's not overly wordy.
Not at all.
No, which is nice. I think Riley looks fantastic. I think, again, this is not new Riley for some of you out there who are like, oh, this is old Riley, but I think he looks fantastic. And it's set in Japan. Sabretooth is trying to kill Mariko, and Logan is trying to stop him from killing Mariko. Raping and killing, I should say. And
not necessarily in that order.
Right. And I guess the main difference between like many Wolverine Sabretooth stories of back in the day and this is that Sabretooth pretty much has his way with Logan, but then his other X-Men friends come and save the day. I will say, and again, no disrespect to Claremont, all the flowers. I thought the book, story-wise, was a little disjointed, a little sort of like,
I would agree.
This is happening, with no real like clarity as to why. And it does, I think, ultimately make it seem like Sabretooth is way too powerful, because it basically implies that like Sabretooth can only be taken down by all of the X-Men, which is pretty absurd, and kind of like cucks Wolverine.
Yeah, kind of. I think he gives up too easy.
Yeah.
He just walks away.
He's got to go change.
Yeah.
But in terms of the visuals, I love the visuals. And I thought that the characterizations, and this is going to sound really obnoxious considering that Claremont created most of these fun characters, were spot on. Like I had no problems with the characters as they were. I just thought it was a little overkill to have all the X-Men come and beat up on Sabretooth. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I was wondering, because, I'm not steeped in the X-Men like yourself. But I do know Sabretooth, and he's not that powerful. where he could take on the whole X-Men in one shot. Especially, he just seems to get like the Colossus and Rogue thing, gets that exactly right.
That was cool though. Like that was cool. I mean, I agree with you, but that was kind of cool. Like how they like had him best to them, which is nice. But yes, but I'm with you. Yeah.
Nightcrawler can't teleport because it's too misty, too murky out. He has to know where he's going. It just seemed like it was the right place, the right time for Sabretooth. And it just, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I agree with everything you said. But I think Riley was the number one draw for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we know that Claremont can write these characters.
Yeah.
And it was like Logan is looking this way, and then all of a sudden he's got kimono on and fucking tape and a like.
At the end, I know.
Why? I don't understand what happened in between. Whatever.
And we get a random Storm origin recap real quick, just because.
Just because.
It filled the page, and because she needs time to recoup. I'd be curious, knowing who Tom has worked with. I think Claremont might be, if not the one of the few writers that has been writing comics longer than Tom's been alive. So I don't know how.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Tom's young. He's mid-20s.
Yes, right? Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, whether it's with Williamson on G.I. Joe or just anybody that he's been working with recently, Claremont's the one who's got decades of work under his belt, and I don't know how. And if Claremont is kind of used to working maybe strictly the Marvel method these days, I wonder how Tom approached the script compared to other stories he's drawn for other writers, and because there are some things, and I also don't know, unless maybe he talked about his methods in between bites of his sandwich, but I don't know if I don't know how detailed his scripts are. If he thinks like an artist, like the way Millar or Byrne might when they're writing for someone else and trying to like paint a picture in the artist's head before they put pen to paper. Because there's some things in this story that just don't kind of match up, and I like the whole thing with Kitty and Shadowcat and just the way some things flowed from one panel or one page to the next. So I don't know if things were just a little. It wasn't as easy to follow as previous Claremont stories were for me, and that could have just been a me thing. But it
was disjointed.
Okay, it was a neat little story, but yeah, it was one of those things where Sabretooth is just, and there's no, for long-time X-Men readers can kind of figure out where this story kind of takes place. It feels like it's that Paul Smith era because Marie goes alive and it's just, but Shadowcat is Kitty is just running around in a supermarket sweet sweater and she's just she's just there's. And Sabretooth is like, oh, you must be Rogue. It's like, so obviously he hasn't really met it. So we kind of know where in the timeline this story could take place. But it feels like it was just another, which is fine, but a reason for Claremont to write his X-Men again. And that's great. I mean, the book is called Wolverine by Chris Claremont. So if you're not a Claremont fan, why are you going to read this? But
yeah, for sure.
It's just, yeah, I kind of,
and another case of a cover having nothing to do with the book.
Yes, that is true. Or even the random Quesada Miki pinup in the back was just Wolverine and a bear.
That's true too.
It's great to see Tom drawing the X-Men, regardless of how old it might be. But yeah, it was the issue. At least was a nice distraction from some of the other things that were going on this week, but it was it was kind of weird, and yeah, for Sabretooth to get the upper hand on every single one of the X-Men and Lockheed was just, it was
Thank
and
God
then-
he didn't
and
kill
then-
Lockheed, dude. I was feeling some kind
dude. And yeah, and we just got so then Aurora flies off, and Kurt and Logan have a short little chat, and then the title of the story is Surprise, and I don't know. I guess we were surprised. I don't know what really that, because we're plopped right into near the end of a knockdown drag out between Logan and Creed. It's I mean their costumes are pretty much torn to shreds. Wolverine's basically hanging on, barely hanging on. He's pretty much disemboweled a page in. His throat's been pretty much ripped out. So there wasn't much of a lead up to this, which and maybe and there doesn't need to be, because it's it's Wolverine and Logan, and it's Wolverine and Sabretooth, and that's just the fight for the ages. So I mean that is what it is. But yeah, it was weird. I don't dislike it, but I wasn't sure when I finished it that I don't, aside from a Claremont Vanity project, I don't know what it accomplished other than just me enjoying Tom Riley's artwork for a handful of pages.
I think that's it right there.
At this point, with Claremont, you get what you get.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
he's got a contract. He's
writing that Kitty Pryde book right now, right? Like
right.
the Wolverine Kitty
They're
Pryde
just
book.
going to
Yes.
keep pumping
Yes.
out Christopher Claremont stuff until he dies, just to keep the contract alive. So that's how I went in.
For our younger listeners who don't know what Vince is talking about, Chris Claremont has a legitimate lifetime contract with Marvel. They have
Yeah.
to pay him a certain amount of money each year, whether or not he does a book, and so they usually have him do a book. But yes,
I think they pay his life insurance too, or his health insurance.
health insurance, yeah.
Probably,
Yeah. That's how I went into it. I went into it thinking, whatever, it's a Claremont book. It's part of the contract. I'll just enjoy it. And that's pretty much all I did.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's not going to reinvent the wheel. It's something we already know. It was okay. It was fun.
To quote my son, it's not that deep.
Right. It's not
Why don't you
that
guys
deep.
tell us something that is deep.
Oh, I think you read this. I think you even talked about this.
Okay.
It came out in 2021.
Yes.
It's a trade paperback, $16.99, published by Fantagraphics. It was a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection. Written and illustrated by Mikael Ross. It's called The Thud. Am I correct? You have read this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I did not know what to expect. I looked at the cover. I saw the stark yellow of the fluorescent light of the hospital and the little boy putting on the cape, and it does not give you an impression of what is to come. The fact that the typography is fucked up, that gave it a +1 to me. They do a TH on top of the UD. So the Thud. And it's basically the story of Noel Floor. Noel is a very special boy. He's got some kind of developmental disability. They don't specifically say, but he's of an age, he's in his early 20s, and he acts like a little kid. Okay? Loves AC/DC. Loves them. He plays air guitar all the time, and it's his birthday, which is Christmas, because his name is Noel. And Mom, whom he calls Mumsy, gives him a guitar, which doesn't have to do the air guitar thing anymore, and tickets to see AC/DC. So the kid is like over the moon. He's in bed late at night, and he hears a thud. And that's the title of the book, but it's also the most important thing in the book is that Mumsy, takes a stroke in the bathroom. And she's bleeding, and it's not pretty. So Noel is spirited away while Mom, in air quotes, recuperates. He's taken to, and I'm going to spoil it, I'm going to butcher this name, Noy Air Crowed. Okay. Is a city populated by people with developmental disabilities. So he's watched over by a man named Robert, and has a hard time fitting in at first because it's different and it's strange, it's odd, and his whole life has changed. You know, he goes from being his mother's best friend to being on his own, basically, in the space of a day or two. And he has this fixation about this princess. He thinks he's a prince, and he's trying to find his princess. So he meets a bunch of people of varying degrees of disability. One of them, Valentine, is data obsessed. Like, he knows facts, he knows figures. If lunch is at 6 o'clock, or dinner by that time, if dinner's at 6 o'clock and it's 5:55, whoa, stop what you're doing. We got to get to lunch. It's 5:55. Dinner's at 6 sharp. Like, he obsesses about numbers, right? And there's mostly a back and forth with Robert and Valentine and Noel, but he sees this girl named Penelope at this, I don't know if we want to call it a camp, let's just call it a function, a disco function. And he falls head over heels in love with her. Like, she must be a princess. She's got to be a princess. Look at her. And her name is Penelope. And he does everything to get in Penelope's good graces. I won't spoil it. He also meets a young lady named Alice. Alice, I don't know what she has working on her, but she's prone to strokes. And convulsing and swallowing her tongue and everything. And she calls Noel Plumpino. It's just that the whole graphic novel, it's not that long. It's about 120 pages. It's about your life changing from 1 minute to the next and petitioning the universe to give you what you want instead of what you need. Like, Noel basically gets nothing he wants in this book.
Gets none.
But he gets what he needs. There's a subplot with Woodpecker that's kind of heartbreaking. There's Noel likes to draw. And more often than not, when he draws an electric eel blasting down. And during one section of the book, Robert gets hit by a lightning bolt. And the boys, well, Noel, actually call the services to come and fix him. And if they didn't, he would have died. And so he owes his life to these kids, but these kids don't know what they're doing. Like, they're just winging it, you know? And there's this thing going on with the electric eel and Robert that's kind of touching. Noel tries judo at one point. And it's very fascinating. It's amazing how the kid can manipulate all of these things, not having done any of them before. Like, he lived a very sequestered life with his mother. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he's taken from that and he's put into this school, let's call it, and forced basically to interact with all these people. And he doesn't know how to do it, but he does it anyway. And it's just a very touching book. More about if I had to find something about which to say this book is centered, I would say it's the universe giving you what you need instead of what you want. And how you navigate that is very important. And it's just a beautiful, the art is phenomenal. It's along the lines of Jules Pfeiffer. Very free, very flowing. It's in full color, the whole thing. But the pen marks and I can't tell if it's done with a brush or a pen, but I would, if you put a gun to my hand, I would say a pen. And very flowing lines, a lot of cross hatching, a lot of color. It's it's a beautiful book, but it'll make you feel some kind of way, and that's a good thing, right? These are real people who lead real lives, and the fact that they don't operate on with the same mechanism as you doesn't make them any less or more people. So I think you should read this. Jason, what did you think about this book?
Geez, it's been a long time since I read it, but I mean, what you're saying definitely resonates. I remember enjoying it quite a bit because it is so orthogonal. It's so strangely different than so much of what we read. But yeah, no, I don't. Again, honestly, I mean, I don't like. As you were describing, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like. So I don't really disagree with your interpretation of it, but I have to pull it off the shelf and revisit it to really give anything deeper than that.
He has this little peach fuzz, a little tiny mustache, and that kind of tips you off that maybe he's not a young kid, maybe he's in his 20s, but it's not stressed. There's one part where it's like, oh, nice peach fuzz, and he acts like he's about 12 or 13. And one of the sequences that really surprised me was he goes to the fair and there's a band there and they're playing an AC/DC song and he knows the song, but he's like, this is not AC/DC. this is somebody else. This is wrong. But he sings it anyway, and it branches out from there. I'm keeping a lot of it vague because this is a book that should be, the facial expressions will surprise you, but the narrative will surprise you more. Ross is very adept at facial expressions, and I think it's a valuable, worthwhile book to read. The Thud, Fantagraphics.
Now, did you just have this on your shelf and you pulled it off?
It was on my stack. I didn't pull it off. I'm just trying to make way through my stack, and it was the next one to read, as was the next one I'm going to talk about eventually.
Nice.
Yeah. Needless to say, you wouldn't get this for $16.99 today. It would be much more than that.
True.
Yeah. The Thud. Read it.
I mean, Fanta still has it for.
Yeah, well, you can still get it for the cover price from them, but if they were publishing this today, it would be more than $60.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, even though it's not a hardcover.
Bastards.
Kind of pissed,
Dude, I know we talked about this on the Slack, but like the fucking the new comic that's being kickstarted by Wes Craig and like I'm all about supporting Wes Craig. I love him, but like. It's like $30 for a single issue.
I think that's too much. Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like, again, like I'm willing to pay a premium to support creators I love, but $30 for, that's just crazy. I mean, come on, man. Like,
there's only one person I would pay that kind of money for. And he's dead.
Oh. Okay.
Bridget
I was
Corbin.
going to guess.
Corbin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Kirby wouldn't have to kickstart.
Yeah, that is true.
Facts.
I seem to have lucked out on a bunch of number ones this week, especially with licensed properties. One of the two that I read is a tie-in to an ongoing, or not ongoing. It's a tie-in to the Rick and Morty versus the Universe event, which started with Rick and Morty versus the Universe, number 1 of a 4-issue miniseries. This is Rick and Morty versus the Universe, Summer of Love, number 1, and it is, and so the next one will be the second issue of the mini. and then in September there'll be another one shot, the third issue, and then in October, before the series wraps up, there'll be another final one shot. But this particular issue is written by Daniel Kibblesmith and Jody Hauser, art by Phil Murray, Phil Murphy, inks by Murphy and Austin Beichel. And this issue kind of it hit me just right, because there was very, very little Rick and even less Morty in this issue, because Rick is talking to Summer at the start of the issue, and then while Summer is ranting about something, she doesn't realize that Rick has left the room, and when he comes back, he's got Morty with him, and they're about to go to a bachelor party, and Summer's all giddy. She's like, "Hey, all right, yeah, it's a party. Count me in." And he's like, "No. See, there was no et in this name. You didn't hear that. It was just there are no chicks at this party." And Morty's like, "Well, you said there were going to be strippers," and Rick says, "Those aren't chicks. Those are skilled private sector workers. So it's totally separate." And then they portal gun away to their party, leaving Summer by herself. So she decides that she's going to have the biggest bachelorette blowout in history, and it'll be way better than the boys' stupid ass party. And while she's making this huge proclamation, that she's trying to figure out how she invites the universe to a bachelorette party, the universe responds and says that, well, you just did, and you're inside me after all. I am the universe. So, let's get this going. And I kind of want a real traditional party, even though Summer was about to go to the extreme and get the whole. She's going to look for dealers so she can have the best drugs at this party, and the universe is like, no, we're gonna keep it traditional. So, Summer's trying to figure out who to invite, and we get a nice little roll call of characters, current and past, starting with Space Beth, who is yes. So see, there is a couple seasons back, Beth had asked her father, Rick, because she was kind of stagnant. She was complacent. She wasn't happy really with her life. I mean, she's married to Jerry, so I mean, why would she be happy? But
Beth is Rick's daughter?
Yes.
Did not know.
Rick's daughter and Morty's mom. And
wait, what?
So,
wait. Oh, Morty is Rick's grandson? Did not know.
Yep.
That. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
So Rick said, "Fine. You want to have adventures. You want to do something crazy. You don't want this life you have. We can fix that." She says, "Yeah, but my kids." And he says, "I said we're going to fix that." So there's two Beths. There's Beth Smith, who's on Earth, and then there's Space Beth. And we do not know. I still believe we do not know which Beth is the original. And I don't know if either of them know. And even Rick was like, listen, I think Rick doesn't know, and he's offered them to figure it out, but I think they're gonna just leaving it as it is. So Summer and Morty have two moms, more or less. But Space Beth, she's like, no, she's out in space doing space shit, so she doesn't have time to go to a party. Unity, who is basically a hive mind. She's also Rick's ex. She's like, no, we're not doing hangover. We don't want hangovers. We're not drinking anymore. I'm going to have to decline your invite. There's the ruler of Gazorpazorp, which was a wild episode and had to do with aliens basically face huggers, implanting eggs in your face. But then there's Amy, who is formerly Mrs. Poopy Butthole. She says yes. Planetina, who is basically a female Captain Planet, and Morty's ex. She's down for it. There's Arthricia, who is a resident of a purge planet. There was an episode where Rick and Morty were flying through space, ends up hitting a giant space bug, but Rick is out of windshield wiper fluid, so he lands on a planet and picks up the windshield wiper fluid, and before they get back into the ship, the old man from the general store, everybody kind of looks like cats, but the old man comes out from the general store, and Rick's like, well, what the hell's about to happen? He says, oh no, we got some killing to do. Like, so it's the one night of the year. It's also like that episode of Star Trek. It's of course the Purge. So one night of the year, everybody just does what they want to do. And so Arthricia was a major bitch in this episode because she ends up using Morty. So she says yes, and then that's basically the issue is them kind of. They even bring in the Dr. Wong, who's sort of the family therapist. She's worked with Jerry and Beth, but she's also worked with Rick. It's a whole kind of family thing. It's not just couples counseling, but even she comes to the party, and Trisha, who is Beth's friend from school, who really wants to bang Jerry. She's. I
mean, who doesn't?
Anybody with a brain shouldn't want to bang Jerry, but she so all these women are here, and they go to a strip show, but it's like a praying mantis kind of strip show. But the universe, and this is her party, she's really not feeling it. She's only used to the traditional bachelorette parties from movies and just whatever media shows how fun they can be, and so it's not exactly the kind of party they want. So they decide to just take the party going and hit up TGI Glorpos and Regrettigans and the Tipsy Pussy, and they're going all out and trying to figure out, and they end up several hours later. They have killed the space president, and their whole. The women are trying to figure out who may have killed him, and we find out things aren't exactly what it looks like. They were in a kind of like an immortality field, and so because everybody killed each other, it was when they're trying to figure out who killed who, they're all turning on each other. Everybody's killing everybody else, until it comes down to Summer and the universe, and they both take each other out, and then that's when they realize that they're in an escape room, and once that they figure all that out, and the party kind of ends, it's the end of the issue before we continue into the next part of the miniseries. But this was a lot of fun for me because we haven't watched the current season of Rick and Morty yet, and I've been looking for a fix. So this kind of and I know that the second volume of the manga is coming out soon, but or is out. I just haven't had it yet. I don't have it yet, but this was fun. It was a blast seeing a few characters that I haven't seen in a minute. It's nice getting a Summer centric issue where she wasn't either being a pain in the ass to Morty or just kind of bringing the room down. She took charge. It was a lot of fun. The art was great. Very it was one of the more apt adaptations of how they appear on the cartoon. So yeah, I really don't have any complaints about this one. It was a lot of fun. Everybody, even characters we haven't seen in a good while. Everybody, they hit the mark. Killsmith and Hauser did a real good job with this. So yeah, I had fun with it, but I now have to get caught up on the rest of the miniseries. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. So if you haven't, I haven't read a Rick and Morty comic in a minute, so I'm not sure how they are right now. But this one this one hits the spot.
Nice. Met Kibble Smith at New York Comic Con last year.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, really nice dude. Met him at Hayden Sherman's table, as I recall.
Oh, nice.
Because he was chatting up Hayden Sherman, yeah.
He's not dumb.
When we were talking to Hayden, or... Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. I thought it was fun. You talked about it a lot more than I would.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. Yeah. They've scaled back a lot on their Rick and Morty books. I don't know. I don't know if they're not selling or they're not selling like they used to or whatever the case. But they've there was some months that went by where there was 4 or 5 new books. Now
And
you
the
look,
You mean the
collections
volume. I thought you meant the
and-
quality. You mean the volume. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, the amount of books they put out, yeah.
Gotcha.
frequency.
But I mean, Oni kind of does that. Oni seems to be cyclical at times because right now they're all about the horror and the EC knockoff. So I mean, in another 8-9 months, we'll see. Maybe they'll move back towards science fiction or something. It's weird watching some of Oni's patterns, but yeah, you're right. It's I mean we've had a massive gluts of Rick and Morty books, and then every once in a while it's a little sparse.
They're too busy trying to crack that YA market.
They're smart to try and crack it, right?
Yeah, well, that's where they seem to be focusing their
Where that money's is.
the most of their attention. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
I'm looking at the list, and there's something else on there that we all read.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't have a list, Andy. What is it?
One World
The
Under
next
Doom.
issue. Yeah. Finally coming back to it. After taking a couple months off.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's interesting because we had a spirited conversation early in the series about how it would play out, right? And Vince, being the ideologue, said, wouldn't it be cool if throughout the whole series, Doom is just being the better man? And I was like, that would be cool, but Marvel's not going to do that because Marvel's Marvel.
Yep.
And I thought this issue was fantastic because, to set it up, this is an issue where after the prior one where the Fantastic Four kind of made to look like villains because they're trying to blow up Doom's spot, and the whole world's like, why are you trying to blow up Doom's spot? He's the man. And Reed, somehow or another, I kind of don't quite remember, maybe you guys do, but somehow convinces Doom to do like a modern day equivalent of like a Wizards duel, where they agree to both go on global TV live and debate the merits of each of their cases as to whether Doom is in fact bad for the world or not. It's kind of interesting in the sense that, like, I mean, you got this all-powerful god, and then his arch nemesis, who's like one of the, if not the smartest man in the world, and like they're going to debate on TV. It's a little kitschy, but whatever. But I thought it was well executed because they are going back and forth. And Vince, you must have been fist pumping halfway through this issue because I thought Doom pwned Reed. I thought he pwned him. He was making Reed look like a straight clown, being like, you all talk about your virtues and how you are also great for society. Well, Iron Man's chest reactor could have given the world unlimited energy, and and he goes through a litany of the heroes, and this could have done this, and the mutants cured literally like ended death, but they didn't share it with anybody, which is as the biggest hate crime ever. And then he turns the tide on Reed, and he's like, and you're supposed to be the smartest guy on the earth beside me, and you've created how many unbelievable inventions that would have done so much for society, and what do? You hoard them in your house and only share them with your family. Talk about horrible. And I'm like, oh shit, he's right. These heroes are pieces of shit. They're fucking egomaniacs, fuck pieces of shit. Like, right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right? And then
they ruined it.
In my opinion, the series, unfortunately, predictably, falls apart.
Yep.
Because Meanwhile, during all of this debate, where Doom is just owning Reed, and Reed even himself like, oh, I'm losing. A couple of the ladies, heroes, including Sue, use their various and sundry powers to sneak into Latveria undetected and discover that like this idyllic Latveria that they're seeing is not real. And they break through the facade and they open up into this like cube, like sort of very brutalist cube type of building, and they go in there, and there are countless people being tortured in like these energy prisms, and they're like, Reed, we got the evidence, and they go quote unquote live on this feed, and they tell everybody, well, if you're so great, what are you doing torturing all of your Latverians? And they somehow make the immediate conclusion that Victor is basically taking his own citizens and torturing them in a hell, some kind of like magical hell type of a thing, to suck their life essence, which then gives him the power to do all these godlike things. And Doom of course snaps, and the issue basically ends with the signal of this feed going out after Doom says, "Yeah, of course I'm doing that because that's what we need to do." And of course, you can see where this is going right now. Like the facade of Doom's greatness is going to be lifted, and everyone's going to push back against him and everything. And it's just felt very MacGuffin to me. Mm-hmm. Like, it just felt like we had this really cool, high-concept idea that we had never really seen before of putting the mirror on the heroes and saying, and making at least this interesting discussion of, like, what if fascism, if it were genuinely benevolent, would be better way to run the world than the way we run the world. And, again, it's not about agreeing with that. It's about embracing the idea of that in a story, which is interesting. And then, nope, it's like, I mean, again, not to say I predicted it. I expected it to be handled more deftly than this. It's like, oh, no, we're just going to show you that Doom is, in fact, a petulant egomaniac who's willing to torture his own people. And I really feel, and again, this is going to get into some nerdy shit, like the Who's Stronger, Hulk or Thor thing. Like, I think this is this issue to me almost completely erased the good of everything that came before it, because there are a few things that we hold true about Doom. One, he thinks he's a hero. Like, meaning that he genuinely thinks he would be better for the world controlling it than not, right? Like, it's not from a place of just being wanting power. He thinks he'd just be better at it. Two, he loves his mother, right? Three, he fucking loves the people of his country. Yeah. Like, his country has always been depicted as effectively an autocratic paradise. Like, yes, he rules with an iron hand. Nobody ever steps against him, but there's no unemployment. There's no health issues. Everybody's got everything they need to survive and live a happy life and have purpose. And this basically just shat on that. Just basically said, like, no, they're just his fodder to, like, live his selfish machinations. And it's like, to me, again, I don't want to belabor it, but, like, to me, the first half of this issue I thought was, like, absolutely masterful, and I really thought, like, oh shit, Vince was right. This is actually really an interesting approach to doing an event. And then the second half was like, oh no, here comes the turn. Yeah. So
I think it's alternately ham-fisted and brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Pearl Harbor thing was ham-fisted, was dumb, stupid, but when he starts talking about the heroes, like Iron Man and Black Panther and Storm and Hank, okay, your ruse is revealed, which is dumb to begin with, but doesn't change the fact that you were right about all of these heroes. So if it comes out of this that the heroes are looked upon side-eyed a little bit, then we're going someplace. But it doesn't change the fact that this single issue trashes the entire series. Just because he would never use Latverians as resources to fuel his magic. He would never use them. And number two, you're talking about all of these heroes being less than what they are. You are too. Like, you're doing the exact same thing. Just because you couch it in the fact that, like Pearl Harbor, like Winston Churchill did at Pearl Harbor, we have to hide some things in order for certain other things to happen for the good. Yeah, but you're still a scumbag.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change the fact. I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed because I thought this would be something different, and you were right. I was wrong. I expected.
I hate that I was right though.
I know.
Legit.
I expected Marvel to change their stripes, and they didn't. They waited a long time. 6 out of what? 10 issues, 8 issues. I mean, however many.
9.
10, I think, right?
Yeah.
9.
It's a 9-issue mini.
It was just disheartening. Yeah. And how old is Reed anyway? Is he 30? Is he 40? Is he 60? How old is he? Because it keeps changing from panel to panel. Like,
Well, yeah, that's another issue. I mean, we've said from the
Yeah,
start.
we
that
don't.
art
Yeah,
wasn't-
I don't. Because if I mean, 3 of the most beautiful women in the Marvel universe are kind of anything but as they're invading Latveria.
yeah, and I think
Looks
there
like
was
they're like Real Housewives of Latveria.
I think there was way too many splashes of people we don't give a shit about expressing
yeah.
joy. Like,
I don't know if these are people that Silva actually knows in real life.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, there are a lot of people.
I don't know. And to put
You agree with that?
Doom in the middle of the gutter on a double page spread, you should know better.
Yeah.
You should know better.
Yeah.
I don't. It was weird to me that what he was wearing. Because he's got like a short little green tunic on, and then like a, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a suit, and with his saddle shoes. It was a weird look. I mean, I wasn't expecting to be, maybe not in his like royal garb, but it was weird. There's some weird choices art wise, but the whole back and forth I was into, except for the whole Churchill thing, and then them infiltrating it for the big reveal. But yeah, it was again, I mean, Doom was spitting facts, but yeah, it didn't. It of course, public opinion is fickle, so we'll see what happens in the next issue as far as turning on him. But yeah, it was, but I think also the whole point was to was kind of get to those last couple of pages where, as the cover gives it away, like Doom is literally tearing Reed apart. But it was, it's weird that an issue in just a handful of pages can be one of those. This is a great issue to. Oh yeah, all right. This is what it is.
Yeah,
This is trash. And he's got he's got the people in the energy cubes, the rectangles, the energy rectangles, each of which bears not only the mark of doom on the energy, but the mark of doom above the energy.
yeah.
And he's got these people in these rectangles, and they're shackled. Where are they going to go? What?
And not all of them are shackled though. Some of them are, some of them aren't, or some are at the
some of them
ankles.
got
It's
chains
weird.
on them. It just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. It doesn't
You
make
got like matrix battery hoarders above them and everything.
Yeah.
It was a weird layout.
We're looking at children. Damn you.
that face with the gritted teeth.
What is that? Like, stop.
Yeah, it definitely was a thing.
This issue of One World Under Doom, Reed will be played by 15 different actors. And it makes no sense.
You got
Facts.
the dude from House of Lies who voiced Sonic. You got he's Reed is everybody in this issue.
Yeah. Signal lost. Read it lost, too, by the way.
Pardon me?
Read it lost as well as the signal, because I won't read any more of it.
Oh, you're done? You're tapping out?
I'm tapping out, yeah.
There you go.
It was not a fitting issue. It was not. It's a hackneyed. I should have seen it coming. How dumb to use Latvians too, like the one place where he thinks that they won't look, they look, and they find. Like,
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make any sense. It's dumb.
Plus, like, not to mention, he's God at this point, like, and yet he can't turn off a fucking feed, or he can't fucking like, you know what I mean? It's
He
like,
can do whatever he wants.
yeah, it's like
Right.
okay, dude.
Yeah, you've got all this power.
Yeah.
You can beat Dormammu, but you can't squash a network feed. Huh?
Yep.
That was too hard. Okay.
The stones don't work on that.
No.
I wish. I don't know. It's weird. I kind of have to, of course, read references Blood Hunt, which led into this, and Doom getting as powerful as he is. And it's, of course, the same week since I was posting the CGN specials that Marvel releases the Blood Hunt Red Band Deluxe hardcover. So hey, since Reed mentioned it, I wish sometimes the books we're reading were as well thought out as well as Marvel plans their attack on the readers and bookstores. Because if the time you took to plan all, and it may just be a coincidence, but if you're going to, or the same thing with Claremont and the Wolverine thing, because there was because Claremont is writing the new Kitty Pryde mini, and of course Kitty and Logan are talked about it. It's one shot today. It's just it's interesting how they time everything, but they kind of don't put that same effort into telling really engaging stories that are going to have us coming back for the next issue.
Yep.
Well, we said it a bunch of times. Shame on us for expecting different.
Nah, yeah.
Shame on us. We know that's how they work anymore. They've worked that way since 90?
Yeah.
Around there. Oh, well. I'm going to try and pick us up.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know if I can, but I'll try. This was published by Fantagraphics Underground.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
it's a O-Rama.
yeah, which is a hardcover. It was published in 2019. You can still get it for $30. It's called Ditch Life. Written and illustrated by Amy Lockhart. Jason, have you read this?
I have not.
I don't think you're going to look. Yeah, this is not the book for you.
Okay, there you go. That's probably why I didn't read it.
What is it about? It's about everything and nothing at all. Does that sound facetious to you? It's pretty much about this. I'm gonna call her a girl because she has breasts. Her name is Barbara, and she's green. And for some reason, all of the denizens in this world, they wear high heels, whether they're male, female, somewhere in between, outside, whatever, they wear high heels. And Amy Lockhart, Barbara is just looking for something to expand her life, so to say. She lives in a ditch, literally. She lives in a ditch. And she wants to get out. And she'll do anything to get out of the ditch, including most of the things that she has no idea about doing. One day, she says she's a plastic surgeon. She's not. She doesn't know the first thing about plastic surgery. One day, she says she's going to buy another house. She doesn't, because all the houses are sold out. She ends up buying a pizza box with with maggots in it. And she looks upon the maggots as her children until she doesn't. She does get out of the ditch, but only because she filled her cousin. Her cousin's name is Shirley, and she used to have an act, and she had gigantic boobs, and her act with her mother went over really well until it didn't. The mother is crapping on the stage and fighting with the patrons, and she needs a lobotomy. Well, Barbara professes to know how to do a lobotomy because she watched a video on it once. She takes off the cap of her mother's head and her brain falls out. And Barbara cuts herself, not seeing the brain on the floor, cuts herself and gets a maggot in her hand, and the maggots crawl into her mom's skull cavity. And Barbara puts the top of her head back on, sews it back on, and it fills her cousin Shirley's floppy boobs with maggots. And the act is a hit until it's not. I don't it's about gender equality, it's about wealth inequality, it's about changing one's life, the truth being a malleable thing, that just because somebody says something doesn't necessarily make it true, but in this universe it kind of does. Shirley has a very cynical breast that comments occasionally on things. Barbara spends a good amount of her time watching cyst extraction videos on YouTube. I don't know. And it goes places from there, but there's very little background in each panel. It's mostly a character-driven piece. The backgrounds are almost non-existent. Maybe a prop in the foreground, but for the most part, it's pretty much just the characters. And it looks like it was drawn by a high schooler between, like I say, lunch and gym class. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't look at it. I think it's awesome to look at. It's very raw. It's very gritty. It's very it's not. I don't even think it's inked. I think it's just plain pencil on paper, and flat color applied to the line art. There's some perspective switches. There's a neat game board. Other than that, it's hard to describe, and it's hard to sell this book. No, it is.
Fantagraphics Underground's got that. Those are deep cuts.
It's grotesque. It really is, but in a good way. I enjoyed it very much. I'll probably read it again, but and get something else out of it the second time. But the first time, I was pretty gobsmacked. Like, this book is about so many different things, and it's about nothing at all. So if you're adventurous, check out The Ditch Life. The cover is the most adventurous piece in the entire book. So if the cover gets you, chances are the interior art won't. Ditch Life by Amy Lockhart, Fantagraphics Underground.
I like that box of bricks, blades, and glass.
Amy gets cut, bludgeoned, knocked down. She gets put through the mill, and she gets up and keeps going. And her mother's carrying around her maggots. Eventually, the maggots come out of her mouth. So there's that. Yeah. Yeah. It's hot. It's hot. It's a fun book. I can't put words to this. I really can't. You just
did.
Well, I tried to, but I didn't do it. I don't think I did justice. You have to read it because it's one of those things that it's so.
Well, you just told me I wouldn't like it, so why would I?
You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't.
Okay.
When I say you, I'm talking to the listener.
He's talking to the
listeners.
Right,
yeah, you would absolutely hate this book.
Doesn't sound like it's up my alley.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we have?
Well, this was a week where I was like, I got all these things sitting in my to read that, they just were building up, and it wasn't like I wasn't not reading these things because I wasn't interested in reading them. They were just sitting there. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try and clear out some things that I'm looking forward to reading, but just for some reason haven't gotten around to doing so. And part of that, I say, goes to the way that I think we all, at least to varying degrees, feel about Mr. Mark Millar. Because I think that, I shouldn't speak for you guys, but when I read a Mark Millar comic, it's generally like this is the cycle of it. I've got this Mark Millar comic, doesn't feel like a priority. Then I'm like, maybe I'll read this Mark Millar comic. And then I read it, and I'm like, God damn, that was a really good comic. Mark Millar's fun. And then rinse, repeat. Like, I always feel like I forget that I enjoy Mark Millar comics until I read Mark Millar comic. And
That's
I think
fair.
the same is true. Yeah, and the same is true of Nightclub 2. And it's Nightclub 2 and then 6 issues. It's the second series of Nightclub, awkwardly titled Nightclub 2, written by Mark Millar with art once again by Juan Ramirez. And we talked about the first Nightclub series at length as it was coming out. We all, I think, enjoyed it. For those that don't remember, it's pretty simple. As with all Millar books, it's a pretty simple premise, right? Like Millar's never going to give you like 20 layers. He's going to set up a conceit. If you like the conceit, he's going to give that to you with a reasonably fulfilling conclusion. It's fair. It's pretty much one-dimensional, and oftentimes for me it works. Same thing here. Nightclub is 3 young high school, they're high school age kids who are made into vampires, and rather than go down a traditional vampire trope story, they decide to put on luchador masks and become superheroes. And that's what the first series is essentially about, them getting their powers, then trying to become heroes. And also, by the way, they're trying to become heroes, like famous heroes. They're screenagers given their age, and so they record their actions, they put them on YouTube. They're trying to build a fandom and become famous and wealthy from their heroism. Well, in the second series, which picks up right after the first one, one of the 3 has felt some kind of way because he has always had a crush on the female protagonist, and unfortunately for him, the third member, the other guy, is having relations with her, and it makes him pissed. So he kind of turns bad, in as much as he abandons them and he just embraces like using the powers of being a vampire for personal gain. So in this series, it starts off where he is like the cool guy now. Like after being a nerd for life, he is the best at sports. He's got the hot cheerleader girlfriend. They're banging all the time. All the jocks love him and are boys with him. And life is good. And meanwhile, they live in the inner city, and there's a gang lord. And this was from the first series as well. And the gang lord basically is impressed with the kid. And then he's like, hey, why don't you come work for me? And he's like, nah, dude, I'm not going to come work for you. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm going to be my own. I'm going to rule shit on my own, because he's like super powerful. And he's kind of feeling himself for much of the series. Unfortunately for him, what he doesn't realize is that homegirl that he's banging, pretty blonde girl, it's all been a ruse. She used to date the sort of captain of the football team, this big gigantic dude, and she never really stopped loving him. And basically she was a plant, because she realized that like dude isn't suddenly charismatic and great at sports and tough and a good fighter, like without something going on. And she basically starts banging him to find out what it is. And then when she realizes it's because he's a vampire, she convinces him to make her into a vampire. And there you're like, wah, wah, wah. Of course, everything goes wrong from there, because soon as he does that, she runs to her boyfriend that she supposedly left for dude, and turns him, and then they turn all the homies, and now they got a whole legion of alpha male, sports bro, dude bro vampires who have no interest in him, and basically kill him and kill Danny, the other hero, and basically leave Homegirl, the last remaining of the three, alive. But they're like, you're out of the picture here. Basically, try and take over the city, and and the rest of the arc is the guys trying to come back and fight them. I love Ramirez's art. I think it looks great. He would be great on Spider-Man. He's just classic, great super. There actually, I don't know if this, but he actually, I look at his art and I think that he is inspired by Sanford. Like I think he's definitely, like, I can see that Sanford would be one of the people that he idolizes and tries to render like. And obviously, I mean that as a great compliment. And the second half of this is basically the trio coming back together, realizing the error of their ways, and then trying to take down this army of evil vampires and take the city back. Highly satisfying, fairly predictable in how it plays out, but again, feel good. The good guys win type of a situation. Very well drawn. There's some funny, there's some humor, there's lots of violence, there's some sexy time. It's really everything you would want in a quick-hitting limited series, and just another winner from Millar. And I don't know about you guys, I feel like Millar, I'm sure there was good reason to leave Image to go to Dark Horse, but I feel like it's done him no favors. I feel like his books at Dark Horse are getting 0% buzz. Like, nobody's talking about them. After, all of the first, because most of these have been sequels so far, 2 or 3 years ago, I feel like all his Image books were getting crazy buzz. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was my creator of the year that year in the old classics, because he did 6 different miniseries, and I thought they were all enjoyable. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. Mark Millar's eaten. I think he's a millionaire many times over, so I don't want to play too big a violin for him. But yeah, Nightclub is super fun, and we absolutely are getting a third series because there was a big cliffhanger at the end of the series, and so I believe we are in short order getting a third volume of this, and I will be here for it.
Good, yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Absolutely, Millar's the king of that. Millar's the king of that. Yep.
Yeah, I've got the issue stacked up. I got to get to them. I mean, and to that point, Jason, I was oblivious to the fact that the Huck sequel is finally out and pretty much halfway over.
Dude, I know. I haven't read it. Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And if you want to get graphic novels crazy cheap, there's only one place to go. Yeah, it was good. CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com. Crazy cheap graphic novels. OGNs, trade paperbacks, manga. Yeah. Omnibus editions, all those things. Far, far less than retail. If you, wherever you listen to this, do us a solid, leave us a review. Words, stars, doesn't matter. Constructive criticism, gushing praise, whatever you want to do, we would appreciate it. And check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. 2 tiers. That's it. That's all. Very simple, very easy. Check it out. In your travels, I'm going to scratch one thing off my list. And another thing that I didn't put on my list, because I just finished it today, is I got it from Tony Ayubi, who is a patron. Nice. It's Hank Tales, number 2. And
yes,
if you wanted an overview of Jack Kirby's career, you would get this Hank Tales number 2, because obviously it's drawn by Tony Ayubi and written, but it spans the gamut between I would say photorealistic, right? And then there's collage, and there's clippings, and there's some strange ass stories that if I had to encapsulate the meaning of, I would never be able to do it. There's an homage to classic comics and art. It's just an amazing issue. Does he have where to get this? Tony Yuppie. Yeah. Just do a Google search for Hank Tales number 2, Haint number 2, and Tony Yuppie, and I'm sure it'll come up. Buy it because it's freaking great. This has been on my list forever, and I'm going to take it off right now. It's called The Green Hand and Other Stories by Nicole Clavellou. Introduction by Dan Klaus. It's published by New York Review Comics. I have seen at least half of these strips before in the pages of Heavy Metal, a younger version of myself. And some of the imagery never left me. I couldn't tell you what the stories were about, nor the characters they're in, but I do remember the panels. And so it was like a flashback going through this issue. The color stories, I read all of them back in the day. And this just took me way, way, way back. The black and white, it's a half and half book. Black and white, I have never seen before. To call them dreamlike is an understatement. It is a dreamy, surreal. You're going to get a different resolution than I am going to get, and that Jason's going to get, and that David's going to get. We're each going to. These stories are going to hit differently depending on where you come from. Let's put it that way. Jason, you've read this?
Yes, sir.
Dreamlike is, like I said, an understatement. Very, very surreal books. I don't, not even going to try and describe them, but the reality shifts on a dime. What you think you know, one page, you turn the page, and everything is gone. It's a totally different reality. And it's like, I enjoy that. I enjoy being disconcerted and pushed and pulled and made to see things that I normally wouldn't have seen. So this book is just right. But thumb through it before you buy it, if you can. And I thought it was amazing. The Green Hand and Other Stories by Nicole Clavellou with Edith Za. Edith writes some of the stories. Nicole draws them. And Nicole writes and draws some of the stories. They're amazing. But don't explain the answers, because you're not going to get them.
Facts.
In your travels. The other licensed property I had fun with, which I wasn't sure how it was going to really land, but Dark Horse and Archie have a crossover. Archie versus Minor Threats by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom and Timmy Heeg. Art by Scott Koblish, colors by Hi-Fi. And Koblish does a really good job of giving you that Dan Parent-esque Archie style with the Riverdale and Greendale characters, and Greendale being, of course, Sabrina, and the folks from Twilight City, but very similar to the way Hepburn drew them in the original mini. But basically, Sabrina is Sabrina Spellman just wants to bring her boyfriend to this which is a Warlock's party that no humans are meant to attend. No mere mortals allowed. However, one of Sabrina's aunts whips out the bylaws, and yes, in fact, as long as a mystical artifact of ultimate power can be exchanged for the admittance of any date of a witch's choosing to the Warlock's Ball, and it could be anyone, centaurs, mortals, goblins, orcs. So Sabrina's off to find this artifact, and it's the and so she's going to look for the Five Fingers of Merlin, and that takes her to Twilight City. Unfortunately, she has no way to get there, but she finds out that the Riverdale gang has a school trip planned, and so she's going to stow away, and that's where hijinks ensue, and they arrive in one piece, more or less, to Twilight City, and then they end up getting, well, Reggie is really amped up on being an asshole in this particular story, and Archie is really being shown to be kind of on the boring side, but really wants to follow the rules, and eventually decides to join the gang. So he and Betty and Veronica and Reggie walk into the bar, and that's when they get misidentified as henchmen for the crew, and that's where we leave this issue, and we'll find out what's about to happen in the next couple of issues. But yeah, it was wild. I know, Archie has, there've been a Archie and Punisher crossover the Archie gang has definitely crossed over into some wild. I mean, yes, there were the Ramones, Predator. I mean, there's been some craziness, and I am not. I'm really not too upset about this. It's two properties that I didn't think I'd ever really see together, but I've enjoyed separately. So it's not peanut butter and chocolate, but it should be fun, especially considering the world of Minor Threats. But yeah, I'll be here for the next issue. It's only 4 issues, so I'm sure I'll tough out the mini. But yeah, it was wild, and I really did enjoy the art. So yeah, in your travels, Archie versus Minor Threats.
Nice. So Vince, I was Bela Lugosi at the start of the show because the reason is that one of the characters in this book I'm about to talk about was very much visually inspired by Bela Lugosi's Dracula. This book is Operation Sunshine. Now, I did talk about the first issue of the first series of this way back in the day. We've subsequently gotten that series and then a follow-on series. So 8 total issues. They're oversized issues. This was written by Henry Zebrowski and Marcus Parks. If those names aren't familiar to you, dear listeners, don't feel bad. They weren't familiar to me either. As I understand it, they are quote-unquote famous for being the hosts of a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left. I know nothing about this podcast. Don't know what it's about, who listens to it, but apparently it's a thing. But that's where they come from. And it's drawn, which is, of course, the big hook for me, by my boo, David Rubin. And listen, you guys have heard me say it a million times. There's something about Rubin's art that just delights me. He could draw a dude working in a canning factory, and I'd find it fascinating. I just love the way that he puts ink to paper. It just excites me. So you're gonna have David Rubin drawing a vampire comic, and look, I'm gonna like it, right? Like, that's a no-brainer. Just to refresh people's memory about this, because it's been a while since we talked about it. In this world, vampires are known to exist. They're kind of, there's a détente, a truce, if you will, between humans and vampires at this point. But there are 2 types of vampires. There are the OVs instead of OGs, the original vampires. And they're like, they look very, they all look quite different from one another, but they're super powerful. Like they're the purebloods, if you will. And then there's just tons and tons, like millions maybe even, of what they call bugs, which are the lesser vampires, the non-purebloods. And they basically have like all the bad parts of being a vampire without the good parts. They are immortal. They need blood to subsist. They can be killed, in all the traditional ways of like sunlight and stakes through the heart and all that. But they don't really have like the pros of being a vampire. Like they can't really control people's minds. They can't really, do the flying or super strong. So they kind of just like, they're basically just like downtrodden people, like lower. They're almost like an analog for lower class people because they have trouble fitting into normal society. This series, it basically centers around a couple of characters. The main character is Hex. She is a 300-year-old vampire who's effectively homeless. But she was turned as a teenager, so she's kind of stuck perpetually as looking like a teenage girl. And she befriends a guy named Steve, who's a coder, who was turned about 6 months ago. He's kind of trying to still act like a normal person. He tells his tech company that works for he's got a skin condition, so he can't be near sunlight. But he's a vampire too, and they get drawn into a much broader conspiracy by a OV named Anwar Gobin. Anwar is the one who is drawn like Bela Lugosi's Dracula, very much by design, I'm sure. But he's an OV, and for reasons that we don't really find out until the second volume, he is kind of like a pariah among the other OVs. They have taken great pains to ostracize him from any center of influence. They use magical powers so that he can't track or know what they're up to. He's just, he's an outsider. And because of that, he feels some kind of way, and he recruits Hex and Steve to help him in a plot to effectively kill the other OVs. And that's really what both of these volumes are about. There's a bunch of other characters, there's a bunch of other machinations, but it's just a lot of fun. You very much, I don't know that there's a good guy per se in this, but pretty much I think if there is one, it's Hex, and you are rooting for her and Steve to succeed because they're kind of pawns in a broader scheme. And it's just a lot of crazy drawn different types of vampires. Rubin really goes wild with it, kind of playing with the idea that there's all different strains of vampire. And yeah, they're just kind of like go, like 1,000 miles an hour trying to accomplish this plot and stay alive. Well, I guess they're dead already, but to stay in existence, because the OVs are so much more powerful, they can kill them pretty easily if they get their hands on them. And it's just a really fun series that to me is elevated to a 10 because of Rubin's art. And if you like vampires and you like David Rubin, you will love this. And if you don't like vampires and you don't like David Rubin, then you will not love this. So, Operation Sunshine, Volumes 1 and 2, published by Dark Horse, and me likey.
FYI, Mr. Rubin has a 6-page story in Cruel Universe #1.
Nice.
And it's drawn amazingly well. Get this. It's David Rubin, Kano, and Charlie Adlard.
Damn.
Along with an archival strip by Bernie Krigstein.
Nice.
So it is one of those issues to buy. Yes. And Aseni draws the second story. Or writes the second story. Shut up. It's really good. Oof. And Greg Pak.
Typhoid Mary in it?
No, but David Rubin is. So I used to read it.
I'm going to read it now because of that.
Yeah. Everybody, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you come back next time because we'll be here talking about the comics. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself to a comic shop, any comic shop, and buy something and read it. And hopefully you'll love it. So much so that you go online or you talk to a real life person about it and spread the love of comics. That's what we do. It's what you do. Come back here. We'll be talking comics. Say goodnight. I don't have anything. Anything. Nothing.
I have nothing. Nothing.
David.
I don't have you.
Good night.
Yeah, I didn't queue up anything. Stupid me. King of Stupids. Nice. Tell him you love him so much.
Love you so much.
We do love y'all so much.
That's it for that one.